Welcome back yet again to the Bibs Corner Podcast. I am your host, as always, Mike Bibs. You can find me on Twitter at Bibs Corner. And we're back for part 2 of the Mavs season preview. Meet the podcasters. And I've got people from 5 more podcasts to introduce to you. No rant on this one. If you caught the rant on the last one, I got that out of my system. I don't think I need a long intro either. I did want to add on this one. I didn't mention it on the first one, but I said it's 21 questions, and you might have caught that it's not quite 21. I did remove the first question from almost all of the sessions. The first question was, and you heard it on Grant's if you listened to the first one already, and you'll hear it on Kenny's on this one, but I asked for an off-season grade. And the reason I removed that question from each of the sessions is because pretty much everybody said the same thing. The grades range from B- to a couple of A's, but all pretty much said that the draft was great, the trades we made were great, and that some people said the offseason was a letdown. Those that said it didn't say it was a letdown. Basically said that there really realistically wasn't a ton we could do. We didn't have a ton of money to spend and things like that. And those that were disappointed by the free agency period acknowledged that the team coming out and saying that, we're not done yet, or whatever it was, however it was worded, is a factor in how they felt about the free agency period. So Kenny gets into that on this one. I left Kenny's in. I left Grant in on the first one because he was one of the people that gave it A, so I wanted you to hear that positivity. But then Kenny is one of the people that took points off because they raised our expectations for free agency and then didn't deliver. So with that out of the way, it's time to make this batch of podcasters blush if I can. So let's get into that. So, the podcasters you're going to meet on this particular episode of the Mavs season preview are as follows. First up is Dalton Trigg, a titan in the Mavs podcast game, well connected within the organization. Dalton combines Southern charm, knowledge of the game, and professional reporting into one package. It was an honor to get Dalton on the podcast, and he delivered as usual. Second up, we have Lauren Gunn. A legend in her own right, Lauren has a commanding mic presence that makes you want to listen and is easily one of the best people on Mavs Twitter to get into the details of the game with. Third up on this particular episode is Kenny. One of my earliest Mavs Twitter follows, going all the way back to 2011 probably, a guy who will not hold back when he hears a bad take or doesn't like a player. We won't say any names. Kenny has a lot more personality than me, and right now, with his podcast, I'm loving the way the structure is coming along. Fourth on the docket is Reid, and I actually didn't know Reid at all before this sit-down, but we had a lot of fun. We talked for way too long, honestly, but that's okay. Reid's a cool guy, and the Ballscast, don't leave out the S, it's plural balls. No half sack. Ballscast squad, they say they aren't informed, but they are, and they're way too hard on themselves. And then finally, my guys, Jay and Fazal, guys I talk to about a lot of things besides basketball, and we've already got some stuff planned in the near future. Any chance I get to collaborate with these guys, I'm taking it. But I can't be seen next to Fazal in public. He's got the Farrah Fawcett, Snoop Dogg, Mr. Steal Your Girl curls. He's rocking right now. So we've talked about a link up, but I don't know if I can make that happen until something happens with that hair. But anyway, let's get to it. Okay, so I'm here now with Dalton of the Mavs Step Podcast. On Twitter, that's at StepBackMavs. And we're going to do a quick 21 questions Mavs season preview edition. The first few questions I have already given Dalton, so he'll be prepared for those, but we will reach a point where he has not heard the questions yet, and you will hear things like, oh, wow, that's a great question. and things of that nature. Are you ready, Dalton?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Awesome. All right. So the first question is one of the ones I gave you. What are your goals for this year? We can talk records, standings, awards, and definitely have to touch on postseason success. What do you got?
Well, I definitely think that Luka is, the MVP favorite. He seems to be, everywhere you look, and with the odds makers, and I think that's accurate. I think he'll, I think he has a very good shot of winning the MVP this year, and depending on how high they get up in the rankings, I could see Rick Carlisle getting a good shot at that Coach of the Year award too. But
Okay.
as far as goals for the year, so team record, I'm gonna say whatever the conversion rate is for the subtracted amount of games. So like in a regular 82 season, I would say 55 wins. So whatever that converts to for this 72 game season is what I would predict.
Like 45, 46.
Yeah. So that's what I would predict as far as record wise. I think that would be good enough to get them in the top 4 in the West. I think they'll end up in that 4th spot, is what I'm looking at, if health permitting, of course. And I really think they're going to do it this year, though, because the depth, is the depth is so much better this year than it was last year. I think they'll be fine. Okay.
And then a postseason, any goal for the postseason?
So this kind of goes into your next question you were gonna ask, but it's kind of both. It's kind of the postseason goal / my hottest prediction for this season, and that's if the Mavs stay completely healthy after KP comes back, then I could see them getting to the finals. Wow. I've already said before that, I think this team already has Western Conference Finals potential, but, seeing how, let's just assume they meet the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. We've seen how this team competes against the Lakers, and this Mavs team has only gotten better.
Exactly.
People can argue that the Lakers got better too, but I think if completely healthy, the Mavs can make that push and get to a finals. So a lot has to go right for that to happen. The health stuff, it has to stay in line. And but if it does, that's my bold prediction.
Awesome. And since you combined two, I'll go ahead and just let us go off track a little bit. Who would you want to see in that finals matchup?
Oh, man. That would be that is a really good question. Honestly, it'd be really fun if it was against Giannis and the Bucks. That would be great. As much as I have had this pipe dream of Giannis coming to Dallas, if the Mavs found a way to make it to the finals with, before he even hits the open market, if he even hits the open market, and then, maybe find a way to even beat him in the finals, that would be just very, very gratifying.
And so for me, as a person who is not, I love when guys stay with the team, so I can't be a hypocrite and say, I need Giannis in Dallas. So for me, like a perfect scenario is Giannis versus Luka in the finals, like 5 times over the next 10 years. That would be amazing for basketball, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, there were some people talking about, when Luka and Trey, they were traded for each other, and obviously the Hawks have gotten better, but they're not quite at. I don't think they're at that level yet where we can talk about them making it past the first round of the playoffs or anything. But we've had people talk about, maybe Trey and Luka can be that Magic Johnson, Larry Bird type rivalry, and they're in opposite conferences and they can meet in the finals a bunch and all that. But yeah, I think it's more realistic that's Luka and Giannis at this point.
Exactly. That's the comparison I've made for the two. But we'll see what happens with Giannis. That's a subject for another day. So the other question I had that I believe I sent you already, what does it take for this season to be a disappointment for you?
A disappointing season for me would be if they either miss the playoffs or barely scrape in while also having good health. I think that would be the only, because, depending on what happens with injuries, we've seen it with not just the Mavs, but every team in the league.
Right.
Stuff happens that's just out of people's control, and you just can't help that. So if the Mavs were to stay completely healthy and they still struggled, like in late game situations and lost a bunch of games and barely squeaked in, I think that would probably be a disappointment for me, considering the improvements that they've made this offseason.
Right. Yeah, I think the expectations have increased, and so ending up close to where we were last year would be a little disappointing. That's fair.
Oh yeah. The days of no expectations are over.
Oh yeah, and it's a very welcome goodbye to that era of Mavs basketball. All right,
yeah, it's
so now
we're
getting into the stuff that you were not prepared for. Starting off with a
Let's
light
do it.
one. What's your favorite Mavs memory?
Okay, so my favorite Mavs memory, and you might have seen this on Twitter a while back. I think I've posted it a few times, but so my wife and I, we'll go down to New Orleans every single time that the Mavs are playing down there, and we did so even before I got into media. So we were going as fans. It was back in 2016. We were engaged, had our wedding set. My wife was like, you know what? We're going to give Dirk a wedding invitation. And so I was like, okay, well, we'll see how that goes. And, Dirk, he's super nice. We had met him a couple times before and gave him the wedding invitation. And he seemed genuinely, happy about it and took it back with him to the locker room. Well, we're thinking, well, nothing's going to come of this. It was just a nice little moment. Well, 2 weeks later, we get this package in the mail, and Dirk has signed our wedding invitation.
Oh wow!
And wrote all the best on the front of it, and that is definitely my number one, even over the championship,
right,
in 2011, because I was in attendance for Game 4 of that one. But the Dirk wedding invitation thing, that's definitely my number one Mavs moment flash memory.
That's a blessed union right there, is what that is.
It definitely is. It's maybe I'll end up like my grandparents on my dad's side of the family. They made it 63 years.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot to take in, but definitely off to the right start, it sounds like.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna go in the opposite direction, Dalton. What's your biggest Mavs heartbreak?
Biggest Mavs heartbreak was definitely the We Believe Warriors in 2008, because I was heartbroken by the finals last year, but it was like one of those things where it's like, man, the team was this good. They got this far. They're bringing back, most of the pieces that they already had, so you knew they were going to be good again. And they were 67-15 and the number one seed in the West, and then to lose in 6 to the 8-seeded Warriors, that was gut wrenching, especially after losing in the finals the previous year. That was that's probably the lowest I've ever been as a Mavs fan.
No, this is a very common answer for this question. Yeah, that was tough. I think Don Nelson had fun with us.
It was a horrible matchup.
Yeah, I think for myself, like as soon as I saw the matchup, I was like, we're gonna lose this series. I was devastated before we even played a game.
I've said it before, and I've seen a lot of people say this, but if you could have had the Mavs match up with literally any other team that year, they would have gone on and won the title. I fully believe that.
No, it predates Twitter, but I definitely said, like, put us up against any team except the Warriors, and we're dominating. Like, this is the only team I don't want to see. Like, if you could pluck any team out of the NBA, I'm not scared of anybody but this Warriors team. And the chips just didn't fall our way that year.
Yeah. And it really sucks because, I was actually a fan of Baron Davis before that. And, with him and Monte, which he wasn't that big of an influence at that point, but Matt Barnes, Steven Jackson, that was the sad part. I actually enjoyed that team from a distance before that series happened. And then I just hated them.
Right. Like to this day, I don't like looking at any of them. And then they brought the We Believe jerseys back this year. So that's going to be fun.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Great memories.
All right. We're going to go back to some positive things. And this might be a little easier for you. Who's the Maverick you would most want to just hang out with casually? Current Maverick.
Current Maverick to hang out with casually. That's a good question. Let me think about it for a second. Hold on. Probably Josh Richardson.
Okay.
He seems like a really cool dude. I think he plays 2K and FIFA and all that, and he seems like he like myself. He seems like he's a pretty dedicated meme connoisseur. So I think me and Josh would get along pretty good.
Yeah, and it's funny, like you mentioned it. He seems like a regular dude. Like he doesn't seem like an NBA player. Like his personality. Just seems like a regular dude that's just good at basketball.
Yeah, he posted a picture on Instagram shortly after Thanksgiving, and he had that typical Thanksgiving plate where you just stuff everything you can on it. I was just like, that's just your typical Thanksgiving thing there. It looks like what I did with my family.
He's just like us.
Exactly.
All right, this one is going to get more philosophical. Are you a fan of playing powder, or would you rather go all in on the season in front of you?
I'd rather go all in on the season in front of me because, I write for DallasBasketball.com, and obviously the playing powder thing was a huge thing there in years past. But I feel like since I've been there, I've kind of changed the mindset on that. I don't want to take all the credit for it, but I think overall as a group we've kind of changed our mindset on this because cap space, I say it all the time, but it's basically a myth. It can be created in pretty much any situation. No contract is untradeable. John Wall just got traded. I mean, there's no untradeable contract in the NBA.
Exactly.
So I would rather the team go for it full throttle, focus on the season that's in front of you, and then if you get to next summer and you want to chase Giannis, and Giannis says, "Okay, I want to play in Dallas," well, I mean, he's going to play in Dallas one way or the other if that's where he wants to be. So I'm not worried about playing powder anymore.
Yeah, this has to be the last season of playing powder, I think.
It has to be, especially with Luka on the end of his rookie deal. It has to be.
Exactly. All right. Back to a more fun question. Who is the Maverick you're most excited to watch on the court this year?
Okay, so I think it's going to be Josh Green.
Okay.
Well, are we talking overall or just newcomers?
Overall.
Oh man, well I have to go with Luka then because Luka's just otherworldly good. But I guess for my second one, I'd go with Josh Green because from what I've watched from his college days, and he's super athletic. He's a good cutter. He understands his role. He's one of those super aggressive defensive guys. He acts like he actually enjoys playing defense, which I personally enjoy. So I'm ready to see how he carves out a role for himself this year. And, he has the potential to put up some of those wow highlights that, gets everybody off their couches. So I don't think he'll play a huge role, but I think he'll play enough defense to where he'll get into Rick's rotation, and I'm excited to see, where he's at by the end of the year.
Awesome. And I'm glad to see Green get some love because I feel like it's Tyrell Terry season all over the timeline. People are forgetting about John Green.
Now, don't get me wrong. I love Tyrell Terry, but I think I think with as many guards as, the Mavs already have in that stable, I think Josh Green has more of an opportunity this year than Tyrell Terry will.
I agree 100%. All right. Next question then. Who is the non-Maverick you're most looking forward to watching this year in the NBA?
Non-Maverick. Probably Kevin Durant.
Ooh.
Because I'm very interested in seeing how he comes back. Because everybody said, Achilles rupture is probably the worst injury any NBA player can have. And I agree with that. But then with Kevin Durant, you have one of the best shooters in NBA history. The way he plays, I don't think he's super dependent on that. So I'm interested in seeing how he comes back after being out for nearly 2 years. And just, see how he plays in Brooklyn, because if that dude comes back and he's even 85% of what he was before he left, then the Nets are going to be a really fun team to watch.
Exactly. And it's funny because I always thought that as he got into his later years of his career, that he would start to look more like Dirk. And I think that Achilles injury is going to probably expedite that process.
Yeah, I think so. I think you'll see more of the you won't see as much slashing from KD in the later years of his career. You'll see more of the back to the basket and spotting up from beyond the arc.
Yeah, shooting over his man, the quick moves, like nothing.
Yep.
Crash into the basket, dunking on people anymore too much, but more scoring over people because, he can do that.
Speaking of Achilles, I know I'm kind of going off road here, but
have fun.
Have you seen those videos of Dwight Powell moving around lately? He's looking pretty good.
I haven't. I was wondering about that because I saw that he said he was going to be ready for the start of the season, and I hadn't heard anything until that moment. So you said you've seen. I haven't seen the videos. I probably need to go find them.
If you go to, I think it's Swish Cultures or Swish Culture on Instagram, they posted a video of him working out the other day, and he was rolling to the basket and getting up shots and everything. He looked really good.
Look like himself.
Coming off of an Achilles. Yeah, he looked like himself. So
that's awesome.
Obviously he's got to work himself back into game shape and everything. But I'm pretty excited about him coming back.
That's awesome to hear because I know when you see a guy who's pretty much 90% of his basketball worth is tied to his athleticism at this point, or at least at that point, like that. Seeing that injury kind of hurt me. Like. As much as you make the jokes about him just being a role man and et cetera and so forth, like nobody wants to see anybody's career altered like that. So that
it's a little bit different. A little bit different from the KD situation.
yeah. So awesome to hear that. All right, last big question. Which team would you least like to see holding Larry O'Brien when it's all said and done this year?
Least likely.
The probably team if you could exclude one team from being able to win the championship, who would it be?
It'd be the Clippers for sure. I think I'm still a little salty over all that. As long as Marcus Morris is a member of the Los Angeles Clippers, I just do not want that team winning a title. And that it's kind of a bittersweet thing because I love Kawhi Leonard.
Right.
Like he's one of my favorite players in the league. But I just can't. I cannot get behind a Marcus Morris team.
No, you are not the only one to say that.
Yeah, after the stuff that went on in the playoffs, that just really left a sour taste in my mouth. So I'd probably say the Clippers. And other than that, I really don't have anybody else that I would hate seeing hold the trophy up. I don't have any other grudges.
Definitely, he's probably at the top of most people's right now. All right, so the next group, I got 4 player names here. Just want the first thought that comes to your mind when you hear these players' names. We've actually talked about 2 of them already. Dwight Powell.
Gotcha. Athletic.
Yes.
first thing that comes, I hear his name. First thing I think about is just him flying and dunking off of a Luka alley-oop throw.
I can't remember who it was anymore, but there was like one clip of a dunk that he did on somebody that I still like struggle to comprehend. I can't remember. I think it was somebody on the Nuggets, but I forget who it was. It was like
I think I remember that.
It was like I had to replay it multiple times. Like, what in the world? Like, I'm glad to hear he's back again. All right, next guy, Andre Drummond.
Dinosaur.
Oh man.
I say dinosaur just because, I mean, you kind of know where I stand on this. I think he's a good player. He's very talented. As a traditional center, he's awesome. He's one of those guys, you just put him out on the floor, he could get you 20 and 20 any single night.
Right.
But it's kind of the same, in my mind at least, it's kind of the same concept as when DeAndre Jordan was in Dallas. He had games where he was putting up those kind of numbers too, but
right.
it wasn't affecting the bottom line, when it came to winning.
Yeah.
And I think that more has to do with how the game has changed, and you have to have, more flexibility at that 5 spot. You have to have more shooting. And I mean, to Drummond's credit, I mean, I've seen some highlights of him this summer. He's trying to work on that.
Right.
I just don't know, after he's played this way for so many years, I don't know if he'll be able to make that transition, but
exactly.
Good player. Just, I think his style
outdated game.
Outdated. Yeah.
Okay. I respect it. James Harden.
Ooh, club. That's the first thing I think of, because I feel like, and let me kind of explain that first thing that comes to mind, because it seems like, even today, I don't know if you saw that report from Mark Stein before we got on and recorded here, but the Houston Rockets have already started training camp, and they haven't had their first practice, but they've had, team workouts and stuff.
Right.
And James Harden isn't even there right now.
Yeah, I did see that.
He's not even there. And, it just seems like for multiple people, I mean, it's not just me speculating. There have been so many people that say that, he tends to not have his priorities straight.
Yeah.
And I think that shows with how he's basically fractured so many of these relationships with his co-stars over the years. So
right.
I don't know, that I feel like that's I feel like going to the club and
I don't think it's unfair.
I think all of that is more of a priority for James Harden right now. And I mean, look, it's kind of the same thing with Andre Drummond. I mean, I acknowledge Harden's greatness on the court. He is that dude's an MVP. I mean,
right.
If he could just get his priorities in line to go with that talent, I mean, he'd probably have a couple rings by now.
Yeah. It's disappointing because I liked him for a while, but the way he carries himself now feels like he just doesn't have that. I don't feel like he has the hunger.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have any ill will towards James Harden at all. But until he kind of gets past, typically earlier in guys' careers, you'll see where they they stop partying and everything. Like you heard the stories about Dirk early in his career with Steve Nash, and they'd party a lot and everything. And then towards the end of Dirk's career, he was like making an oath not to drink any alcohol throughout the entire
right.
regular season to take better care of his body and everything. And so you see players go through those party stages, and they eventually grow up and get their priorities in line. It just doesn't seem like James Harden has made that change yet, and he's running out of time.
Yeah, Yeah, I was gonna say he's not a spring chicken anymore. Like it's time to lock in. I hope Wall can stay healthy. I think that's an interesting dynamic, and with Silas coming in, with them adding Cousins, if Cousins can stay somewhat healthy, like I don't know, that team could be interesting. I hate to say it because they're our rival, but yeah, I kind of hope for some of the success, but not enough success to get past us if it comes down to it.
Yeah. I'll say this: I'm not worried about the Rockets in the Southwest Division this year. If John Wall comes back and he plays well, and Cousins, and if it works out, it works out. I just I wouldn't bet any money on it. I'll put it that way.
I respect it. And the fourth player I was gonna name is Marcus Morris, but I think we covered him pretty well already. Unless you had something else you wanted to add.
I guess irritant would probably be the first word to come to mind, because I'm literally irritated every time I either see him or hear his name or anything like that. I mean, that's just, I've never
across.
Yeah. I mean, when you see a guy go after your team's best player intentionally, well, I mean, he can deny it all he wants to. The video evidence was there. You go after somebody's hurt ankle like that in a playoff game. I mean, that was pretty low. So
yeah, that's
I'll be nice and say irritating.
So some other people were not as nice about how they felt about Marcus Morris. So I appreciate your restraint. All right, so we're getting away from the basketball stuff. Recommend me a podcast, any type of podcast that is not your own.
Oh, any kind, just sports or just anything?
Anything.
You know what? I'm going to do my guy Kirk a solid. Kirk Henderson at Mavs Moneyball. Kirk, your enthusiasm. Go give him a listen. Him and Josh Bowe, they tend to, during the season, they pretty much recap every single game. I don't have the bandwidth to do that, so kudos to them for being able to. But they do a good job with that. They cover pretty much every single game. They do a good job with the off-season stuff too. I went to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, for Thanksgiving, and I listened to their stuff on the way there, awesome. as well as some other NBA pods. But I really enjoy the work they do over there.
Awesome. And then finally, Dalton, where can we find your work?
Okay, so I'm pretty much posting everything on my Twitter account. It's at Dalton_Trigg. All of my writing is at DallasBasketball.com. And all the podcasting stuff is at Step Back Mavs. So podcasting, writing, just general takes on the Mavs, maybe a Mavs cat meme, all all that's going to be on the Twitter page. So
that cat's not going anywhere anytime soon, huh?
Oh, if anything, it's gonna go to another level with how the Mavs are rising. So
I don't mind the cat. I love the cat. Well, Dalton, I appreciate you making the time to come over here. Definitely had a lot of fun, and hopefully we can collaborate some more in the future.
Bibs, I really appreciate it. Thank you for having me, and let's have a really fun season this year. I think we're gonna enjoy covering the Mavs this season.
Oh yeah. A lot of fun new pieces to play with. So definitely excited. It'll be here before we know it.
Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate you having me, man. We'll do it again sometime.
I am here with Lauren Gunn of the Blue Hardwood Podcast. Twitter handle is at @LGunn with 4 N's. And we're going to do a quick 21 questions Mavs season preview edition. I did give Lauren the first few questions up front, and we're going to go more in depth on those, and then we'll get into some quicker stuff. Are you ready, Lauren?
I think so. I hope so.
You won't be ready for a couple of these.
I know. I'm a little nervous, but it's all good.
All right. So first one, pretty straightforward. What are your goals for this year as far as record, standing, awards, and postseason?
So my goals in terms of record, I think 43-29 is what I'm currently. I feel like it's kind of more on the conservative side, I guess, because you just don't know with injuries, with the way this, with COVID, there are a lot of unpredictable factors. So I kind of went on the safe side there. But in terms of seeding, I think the fourth seed is kind of where they should be not targeting, but I think that would be a good place to end up. And even if they don't end up at the fourth and say they're at the sixth or even the seventh, like I'm not going to be discouraged by that, because again, you never know with injuries if you're sitting some people because you just want to be a little bit more cautious. So I'm not going to be discouraged by the seeding. And then in terms of awards, I think everybody's kind of got their eye on Luka for MVP, wondering how that's going to look. And I think he could do it. Just we all know how much he does on the court, so I think he could do it. And then as far as postseason goals, I've got Western Conference semifinals. I think is realistic and very attainable.
Okay. Yep. I think that's all very fair. Let's see here. Yeah, that's pretty much, I think, where most people I've heard are kind of lining up with that fourth seed, make it out of the first round type situation. So awesome. So with that said, you kind of halfway leading into this one. What would be a disappointing season for you, though?
I think the easy answer is the first round exit. But what would really be disappointing, and it's something that's a little bit definitely, it's out of your control, are injuries. It's not, like I said, it's not something you can control, but it would just be really disappointing and really suck to see a group, kind of a newer group that we've got together, and all the excitement around this team going into this next season, and then to just see, or to get like just flagged and kind of dragged down with some minor injuries that maybe reoccur, and then you're just continuing to try and I guess mend or not put a band-aid on situations, but that would be really disappointing. But I'm hoping that everyone can stay healthy, and I think that it'll be what it'll be, and they'll make the best of it.
I like that. Not performance related, but like if the season was pretty much taken away from us. Okay.
Right.
All right. So then what is your best hot take or bold prediction that you're willing to put out there for the season?
So this one, I thought about this one for a minute, and I don't know if this one totally makes sense, because again, it's not 100% in your control, but my bold prediction is that the Mavs will be the ones to eliminate the Clippers in the playoffs, whether it's first round, second round. I don't know what it'll be, but I think they're looking for their revenge.
So you want the revenge tour? I
do.
All right, I like that. We're probably gonna come back to that in a second, but these next ones are, feel free to just jot or throw out a quick word or line. If you want to go longer, that's fine. Okay. So first one is your favorite Mavs memory.
Oh, my favorite Mavs memory. That's really tough. Oh man, I'm gonna have to say the Vince Carter shot against the Spurs. I was lucky enough to be at that game, and it was one of those moments where you just felt like you're trying to think of like the probabilities in your mind, and you're just like there's no way, and then you see it happen, and I'll never forget how loud that stadium got. It was amazing.
Okay, so yeah, definitely I would say being there would definitely enhance that. So I like
a little bit, yeah.
Awesome. What's your biggest Mavs heartbreak?
Oh, my biggest Mavs heartbreak. That's tough. I'm gonna have to say Dirk's retirement, which might be it might be kind of weird, but I was only 7 when they lost to Miami in 2006. So the memory is a little fuzzy there. But I think when Dirk retired, and he said he didn't officially retire, but then at that final ceremony, he kind of looked and said, this was my last game. It was truly the end of an era, and you couldn't help but just be a little bit heartbroken, but also so just amazed by everything that is Dirk. So I'd say that was my biggest heartbreak.
Awesome. I like that answer. Okay. Who is the current Maverick you would most want to hang out with, and why?
Oh God, that's a good question. I'm going to have to go with, that is so hard. I have to go with, I'm sorry. That is such a hard question.
It's fine.
I'm gonna go. I don't want to say an obvious answer because I think we all might just have the same answer. But I'm gonna go with Josh Richardson because he's been throwing out some quotes, and I am liking what he has to say. So I think he would be really interesting to just have a conversation with, pick his brain about anything and everything. And yeah, I'd say Josh Richardson.
I like that. He does seem like a cool guy just from these first few interviews I've seen. So I like that answer as well. Okay, we're going to get back on something more serious basketball-y.
Okay.
Playing powder or worry about this current season in front of us?
Oh, man. I don't. That's tough because I feel like we all kind of know how they like to do things. I think you do need to focus on this season and kind of you need to take everything moving forward one season at a time, because ultimately what you do this season is essentially building the foundation of what you're going to pitch come free agency, come the next. So I think they are, and I think they need to focus on this season and what they can achieve in that next step that they're hoping and planning to take.
Okay, I like that answer. Very judicious with the words. Who is the Maverick you're most excited to watch this year?
Oh man, I think I'm most excited to. I'm gonna kind of look at the newest guys that have been brought in. And I'm gonna go Josh Green. I am super excited about Tyrell Terry. I think a lot of people are, and I don't want to say I have I actually do have semi-high expectations for Terry, but Josh Green, I want to see what he can do. I've seen in footage the energy he brings and the effort he puts in on the defensive end, and obviously he's got that athleticism. So it'll be nice to kind of have another guy on our team, like a rookie that has this athletic, like you just never know when he's going to pull out a highlight reel dunk. So I'm very excited to kind of watch and see how he fits with the system, which I think the fit will be great. And I can't wait to see what he can do.
I want to applaud you for that answer because it's slightly annoyed me that how much love Terry's getting and how ignored it feels like Green's been on Twitter.
Yeah.
It's like he was 18 for a reason and Terry was 31 for a reason. So
yeah.
All right. So who is the non-Mav you're most looking forward to watching this year?
Oh boy, that's tough. Who's the non-Mav? I'm gonna have to go with Killian Hayes. I really like him as a prospect. I think he's got a lot of potential, and I just think he's a unique prospect, and he's got a nice step back. He's a lefty shooter. His vision is great. I think he's in a situation and has the ability to really kind of turn some heads and show people why he was such a high draft pick.
Awesome. You think he's going to start?
I don't think he is, but I think he should, if I'm being honest with you. I would love to see him start, but I think he'll probably kind of be the D-Rose relief, but which is fine. That's probably what you should do with such a young a young rookie. But I would really, really like to see him start because he's got the size. He could, but I don't know if he will.
It's definitely going to be an interesting team to watch. I'm definitely keeping my eye on that. I think people are sleeping on that roster. All right, next question. What is the team you least want to see holding up the trophy at the end of the year?
Oh, God. That's a great question. I'm going to have to go with I got to go with the Clippers. And I know that seems like the easy answer, but I don't want to see I can't. That will not go well for me. And the Lakers aren't far behind, so.
All right, so no trophies in LA. Got it.
No, exactly.
All right, so quick word association. First thing that comes to your mind when I say these players' names.
All right, let's do it.
First one is Dwight Powell.
Energy.
Okay. Andre Drummond.
Bulldozer.
Okay. I was expecting something worse with that laugh.
I just didn't expect that one to come. I liked it.
All right, James Harden.
Selfish.
Okay. I like that. And finally, this should be interesting. Marcus Morris.
Oh boy.
Take your time.
I will take my time on this one. Marcus Morris. Can I do a phrase or just one word?
I'll allow a phrase.
No. Oh God, I can't say that. I'll just say deserving. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. I feel like I get where you're going with that.
Okay. Perfect.
All right. So moving away from the basketball, recommend me a podcast, any type of podcast that is not your own.
Oh man. Let's see. Any type of podcast that is not my own. Man, there are so many that is very difficult. I gotta say, my mind instantly goes to, obviously we got the Locked On Mavs is a fantastic podcast. Nick and Isaac do a great job, but there are so many other podcasts for other teams within the Locked On network that are just amazing. And obviously you've got the Heat rivalry, but David Ramil does an incredible job covering Miami, and Sean Coleman covering the Grizzlies. He also does a fantastic job. So I think I like to listen to those, because if you ever are trying to get intel on another team or trying to gauge internal value on certain players, seeing if they're available, things of that nature, that's a great place to do it. Those guys are very close to the action. So I would definitely recommend those. That's where I get a lot of my information.
Okay. I like that. The Locked On network, basically.
Right.
All right. Awesome. So then with that last thing, where can we find your work?
Everything is pretty much linked to my Twitter, which is you can find me at Gunn with 4 N's on Twitter. But yeah, you can find any of my work at MavsMoneyball.com. You can find Brian and I's Blue Hardwood Podcast on the Locker Room app. Anyone that wants to come in there and join the conversation with us, it's always fun breaking some stuff down. And once things really get going with the season, I mean, there will be something to talk about every day, every hour, it'll seem like, but yeah, that's where you can find me.
Awesome. Lauren, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
I'm now here with Kenny of the No Name Mavs Podcast. That's at Kenny_817 on Twitter. How you doing, Kenny?
I'm doing great. How you doing? I'm glad to be here. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm looking forward to getting into these questions. And I did send you the first few. I assume you are ready with those.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, we're going to get to a point where Kenny has not been given a heads up, so there might be, you'll notice he'll be caught off guard when we get there. All right, so first question, of course, the Mavs offseason has wrapped up. What are you giving them? What's your grade you're giving the Mavs for the offseason?
I give them a B+. And I give them a B+ because, okay, I love the draft. I love everything that we did. The trades for James Johnson, the trades for Jay Rich. I love the draft. I love everything. I just don't love the talking by the front office. I don't like it. It's annoying. Like they did all these great things, and then they said, "Buckle up, we ain't done yet," and then they did nothing. Like I mentioned this on my podcast. Do you hear Sam Presti saying things like that?
Right.
Rob Pelinka, Pat Riley, Usama.
It wasn't necessary.
Usama. Yeah, none of them say that. They just do.
And it's funny because you use a very similar analogy that I did with, as far as like, if you have a night out with your girl and on the way home, you're like, I still ain't done yet. You pull into McDonald's, like, she's going to be pissed.
She's going to be very, very upset, rightfully so. So I know Mavs fans are like, oh, but they did this. Yes, they did. That's great. But you didn't follow through.
Right. As if without that, I probably would have given them an A, honestly.
I'll give them an A+. They did everything else great. They actually took the draft seriously, which they never do. And that was great.
Exactly.
But they were tripping with those comments, bro. They were tripping.
Right. It was completely unnecessary and
unnecessary. Exactly.
All right. So I appreciate that. I think I gave him a B+ myself. So on the same page there. So what are the goals you have for the team this year as far as record, final standing in the West, any awards you might have your eyes on, and then, of course, postseason success?
Okay, so team record. How many games are there? 72?
72.
72. I would just throwing a number out there. I would say 48-24. Is that 72? Yes.
Yeah.
My standing in the West. See, this one's tough.
Yeah.
I would say I'm going to go on a limb and say third seed behind both LA teams. Third seed.
I think that's fair.
Mm-hmm. And eyes on any awards. Luka's winning MVP.
Okay.
Definitely winning MVP. Any other awards? I don't see anybody else winning any other awards. Maybe like a sixth man, but it all depends on who we have coming off the bench.
Right.
As our sixth man.
Which is going to change every game.
Exactly. So that'll probably disqualify anybody on the Mavs from being sixth man of the year, since we probably going to shuffle in lineups. And postseason goal, we have to make the second round at least.
Okay.
At least.
Take a step forward.
Yes, take a step forward. But and like the record and stuff, that's all depends on how long Porzingis is out.
And then we'll probably get into that too in a minute. So,
okay.
In your eyes, what is a disappointing season for this team?
To be like a 7 or 8 seed, make the playoffs, and get beat in the first round again. You can't. That's what we did last year. You have to progress. Right. Free agents want to see progression. They want to see that we're good without them. And then if we get a good free agent, we're just going to be elevated.
Exactly.
And that's what we need to do.
Okay, I like that. And you might have kind of already touched on one, but maybe you got another one up your sleeve. What is your best hot take or bold prediction you can give me for this season?
Okay. Christmas Day, Luka, 30-point triple-double, and they beat the Lakers without Porzingis.
Okay. I think the without Porzingis is key to him having 30 points.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think you've mentioned this on your pod as well, or on Twitter at least, the less points Luka is scoring, that means the more help he has.
Exactly.
So yeah, that first game, or that first big game, I should say, Christmas Day, 30-point triple-double, I like it. We'll see how that plays out. All right. So now we're getting into the stuff I did not give you ahead of time. And feel free to just throw a quick thing out there. You don't have to get into deep explanations. What's your favorite Mavs memory?
The playoffs. Oh, take that back. The championship parade, 2011. We rode the train. I lived in Addison. We rode the train there, and I was drunk by 6 a.m. It was amazing. That's my favorite.
I'm surprised you survived that if you were already drunk at 6 a.m.
Oh man, barely.
I'm glad you remember it too. All right, awesome, like that. What's your biggest Mavs heartbreak?
2006, game 3, 4, 5, and 6, 100%. Awful.
Yeah, that was definitely a rough time for me as well. I can understand that. Okay, who's the current Maverick you would most want to hang out with, and why?
Oh, Boban, because he's just the coolest person ever. Definitely Boban, because Boban, like, everyone hates me on Twitter, but I don't think Boban could hate me. Boban hates no one. So Boban, because he wouldn't hate me.
No, I think Boban would be pretty chill. I like that one. Okay. I feel like I already know your answer for this one, but plan powder or worry about the current season?
Current season. Plan powder has netted us no one except Wesley Matthews on a max contract.
Yeah. I think that's we can keep that one pretty short. I agree. Who is the Maverick you are most excited to watch this year?
Josh Richardson. I can't wait. He's about to be a dog. I can't wait. Cannot wait.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. It's not a Delon Wright situation at all where you're hoping.
Oh, no, not at all. That's exactly what we need.
Yeah. All right, like that one. And so far, most of your answers have been different from the other people I've talked to, so I like that.
Yes.
We need. And all right, who's the non-Mav that you're most looking forward to watching this year?
Oh, the most non-Mav. Trae Young. I love Trae Young. The boy's cold.
It's controversial.
Yeah, I love Trae Young. I love Trae. It's his fans that are a little weird, but Trae Young is a dog, and I just love watching him play. He's so good.
Definitely pulling for him myself. I don't get into that whole Luka Trey beef.
No, I try not to.
To me. All right. Who is the team you least want to see holding up Larry O'Brien at the end of the season?
The Lakers, every single year, 100%.
I think that's a fair choice as well. All right. Some quick word association. This should be fun. I'm going to give a player name, and you're just going to tell me the first thing that pops in your head.
Okay.
Dwight Powell.
Bum.
Fair. Okay. Yeah. I had to expect that. Andre Drummond.
Amazing.
Okay. James Harden.
Dog.
Interesting. Marcus Morris.
Bum number 2.
All right, well, let's keep it simple. All right. So moving away from basketball potentially, I recommend me any podcast that is not your own.
Mind of Reese.
Okay.
The boy talks about everything you could possibly think of. I was literally just got finished listening to, I think it's his 5th episode. I'm not sure, but the latest one where he's talking about like True Kitchen and all that stuff. Bro, podcast is hilarious. They just be talking. I'm sure they just start talking and then they just randomly hit record and they just record their conversation. It's dope. Real dope.
Definitely a cool guy to talk to. I think when I had him on the pod, we ended up going way over what we were supposed to be doing. I had to cut him off. So definitely a good one there. And all right, last thing, where can we find your work, Kenny?
My podcast is No Name Mavs Pod. You can find me on Twitter at the same name. And you can find it on Spotify, Anchor, everything. It's just, I think it's pretty dope. I do things like, I got a section called Bro What? Where I just talk about weird things I see on Twitter for the week. I got my tweets of the week. I got polls, questions and if a Mavs fan asks me a question to answer on the pod, I answer it. I shout them out every single one. I do custom intros. I do everything. It's just dope. I'm trying to have more people on. So we about to get into the features, and I'm sure I'll be hitting you up pretty soon. Yeah, No Name Mavs Pod. Check it out. It's dope.
I'll definitely be looking out for that, and I'll co-sign that recommendation as well. So, Kenny, it's been a blast. I appreciate you doing this for me, even though I made you wait. And I hope you have a great rest of your evening.
You too, man. Have a good one. MFFLs, let's go.
Yes, sir. All right, I am here with Reid, aka at Zesty Hunky of the MFFL Ballscast podcast, and on Twitter that's at Ballscast MFFL. How are you doing, Reid?
I am doing swell. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm ready to get into these questions. I'm curious what these answers are going to be. Now, we are going to do a 21 questions Mavs season preview edition. Reid has been given the first few questions up front, but we will reach a point where he will be caught off guard. You may notice at that moment. So let's get straight into it. First of all, what are your goals for this season as far as record or standing in the West? Any awards you might have your eyes on for this team? And then, of course, postseason results.
So overall, I really don't expect this team to obviously win a championship this year. I think it's still the Lakers to lose. I don't think there's any pressure on the team to win the championship. I really just want to see the young guys get a lot of playing time and develop around Luka. I could see Josh Green and Tyrell Terry particularly. I have not done my research as much on Tyler Bay as much as the other two guys, but the former two I really could see being players on this team that are contributing years down the road. So I with this year, I really just want to see the roster gel. We're really like just now coming full circle post Dirk, and the roster really, it feels like a new era of Mavs basketball. So I'd like to see like a dream season for me would be winning a playoff series, maybe two. But I mean, obviously the West got a lot more stacked this year. And if the Mavs make the playoffs and at least look respectable in them, I'm not as concerned as winning I'm not as concerned about winning a playoff series as I am about just the team overall looking like they have made strides, particularly on defense. I want to see them
not
close
necessarily.
out games.
Yeah, so not necessarily getting out of that first round, but at least looking better than last year.
Yeah, for sure. I want them to close out a couple of those last 5-minute stretches where they either blow leads or lose a game by 2-3 points, which happened way too often last year.
I think somebody said 20 times.
Yeah, something like that. 20 out of the 32 losses, they lost by like less than 5 points. So just I want to see, I want to see games where Brunson picks up the workload and has a clutch fourth quarter instead of Luka, or maybe Josh Richardson has a night where he goes off for 25 and 10. Like I'd like to see the team continue to explore new options as they venture into the bad boy Mavs.
I like that
realm. Yes.
Yeah, I like that. Just really trying to see a better, more consistent team versus putting out a specific goal. I like that. Awesome. So then what? Well, I feel like this might have already answered itself. But then what would be a disappointing season for you?
A disappointing season. I mean, obviously missing the playoffs. There's really no excuse for this team, even if KP is dealing with his injury. The rest of the team at full health should make the playoffs as at least a 7 seed. I just, in the trajectory of things, if Luka can stay healthy, I would like to see this team grab a 5 seed, 4 seed maybe. But a disappointment for me would just obviously be missing the playoffs.
Missing the playoffs.
Yeah, I really am hoping the best for KP's recovery from his knee, and if he can't fully invest in this year's campaign, then that would be really disappointing for me. But I'll give the safe answer. I'll just say missing the playoffs. I don't think there's any reason this Mavs team should even worry about watching the playoffs from the couch. So
that would definitely be heartbreaking for me if we're fighting for an 8 seed, or I don't even want to be in that playing game.
There are enough bad takes about Luka on Twitter, especially right now. And if we are fighting for an 8 seed in May, that's going to really make me mad. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. Okay. All right. So then on the opposite end of the spectrum, what is your best hot take or bold prediction that you're willing to put out there in the universe?
Oh, a hot take. I am known for those. Let's see. Hot take. I gave this some thought. I do think Luka's going to win MVP this year. I have no reason to believe that he's going to take a step backwards at all.
Right.
I really feel like we're just scratching the surface of what he's capable of. I mean, Giannis would have to really just go balls to the wall to get a 3rd straight MVP. I mean, he's got to carry Milwaukee, and especially now that he has a trade. Who'd they trade for? I don't want to.
Drew Holiday.
Drew Holiday, yeah, I'm totally slipped my mind. Now that he has Drew Holiday aside next to him, I think he has a little bit of a workload carried off, and I mean, not that Giannis won't do Giannis things, but just I would be shocked if he wins 3 straight MVPs and none of those come with a ring. So, I don't think there's that much standing in the way of Luka winning MVP. So that's my hot take, is that he's going to be hosting the trophy at the end of the year. Okay,
I like that. I think I want to say you're not the first one to say Luka MVP. So, not necessarily a goal, but as a hot take, I like it.
Yeah, and hopefully a better ending to the last time we won MVP. Last time we had an MVP didn't turn out so well.
We are not gonna.
Yeah. We're not opening that can of worms. Yeah.
Well, we might open it back up in a second here when I get into these next questions that you were not prepared for. So, first one is, what is your favorite Mavs memory?
My favorite Mavs memory. I got a couple. I would say the first time I really started investing in this team, I remember I got to go to a regular season game in probably 05, 06. I don't remember the exact date, but we were playing Portland. And I remember just the first time going into the American Airlines Center as a 10-year-old kid and just like watching basketball at its highest form, watching my team. I'd watched them on TV for pretty much all my childhood before then. And just finally being able to see it in person was such like a wonderful thing for me as a kid. And I fell in love with it immediately. Probably the Vince Carter buzzer beater. I remember watching that live and just, I don't think I've, aside from the title, ever been more hype for a Mavs moment. That was just so cool to see. Until the Luka playoff buzzer beater, obviously. I know that's an easy answer, but the Vince Carter buzzer beater and the Luka buzzer beater are just the two moments where I just ran around like an 8-year-old and just screamed in my living room. And probably had my parents and my roommates concerned at both points, but worth it. Yeah, those are both exhilarating.
Get on board with that. And I think somebody else mentioned the Vince Carter shot too. So
yeah,
awesome. All right.
Well, real quick, if I can tag on real quick there. I remember watching on TV and they added the 3 points to the Spurs, and I was like,
oh yeah,
I was so confused and scared for a moment. I was like, no, I was screaming at my team. I said, no, fix it, like it's on the wrong side. And I remember my dad yelling like, what's wrong? And I was just like, we won, but I don't think they know we won. And just like the hectic chaos of that game. Also that whole series, man, that's one of my favorite Mavs. It's not a specific moment, but that series against San Antonio was some of the most fun I've ever had watching Mavs basketball.
Awesome. I like the answers that aren't the most obvious. I like those. So
yeah.
We're gonna go the opposite end of the spectrum. We're gonna take you from a high to a low. What's your biggest Mavs heartbreak?
Oh, biggest Mavs heartbreak. There are many. There are plenty of times where I've taken to Twitter and expressed my frustration.
We're looking for number one.
At number one ever, I've been blessed. I was born in 96, so they've been a playoff contender for most of my life. Okay. I'm a little bit too recent of a fan to distinctly remember the 06 finals. I remember watching it and being upset that we lost, but I won't use that as my answer. Lowest, I don't know, man. That's tough. I would say
the Mavs have not broken your heart. Is that what I'm hearing?
Mavs have not broken my heart. I've stuck around for 24 years and I'm still here. Maybe the Rondo 8-second violation. I remember just that wasn't breaking my heart as much as it was infuriating me. But I threw a couple remotes that night. But yeah, that's probably the angriest or like most upset I've been at the Mavericks. I've not let them break my heart just yet.
I can respect that answer, I guess. Luka's got some work to do. So just kidding.
Yeah. Nah, he's adorable. There's no way he could ever break my heart.
On the other side of it, we're gonna knock on wood on that real quick. Who's the Mav you would most want to hang out with and why?
Probably Dorian Finney-Smith. Dude's just got an amazing life story. He's been through so much. He just everything about like I'm a purist, and when it comes to basketball, he just embodies everything about like doing it the right way and like working his tail end off to do what he does. He's underestimated and underappreciated, and I have so much respect for him, not just as a basketball player but as a person.
Awesome.
Also seems like he has a good sense of humor, so I'd like to hang out, play some Call of Duty with him for a little bit.
Okay, I like that.
If he's listening to this, that's an offer, Dorian. Just hit me up on Twitter.
It's at Zesty Hunky. Just in case.
That's right.
All right. Plan powder or worry about the season in front of you?
I'm sorry. What was the first part of that?
I'm sorry. Plan powder.
Okay.
Or worry about the season in front of you.
I'll go worry about the season in front of me. Like I said, this team has disappointed me multiple times with investing in future seasons and future free agencies. And I don't have the trust in our front. I respect Donnie as a GM. I respect Cuban as an owner. I think they're both great at their jobs. But I think that in the past, this team has invested in the future and it has severely hurt them in the present term. And that's particularly in the last decade post the title. And until that strategy works and it's proven that we can invest in a future and not worry so much right now, I have to say, worry about the season in front of you. So yeah.
I think at this point, if you aren't tired of waiting till next season, then I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
So all right, I like that answer. So then, who's the Maverick? And this can be anybody. Who's the Maverick you're most excited to watch this year?
Brunson. I have been on the Brunson train forever. Every time I watch him play at his best, I just get so excited. The way he sees the court, He's such a special player that I think has a lot of potential. I joke on our podcast a lot that he's going to win the Sixth Man of the Year in 2024. I'd really like to see what his peak as a player is. He's such a funny dude and a good teammate, and I know he loves being here. So I know there are a lot of people that get upset when names like Maxey and Brunson and Powell get mentioned in like trade talks. And generally speaking, I try to focus on the best thing for the team rather than getting attached to players.
Right.
But consistently, I have said whatever we can do to keep Brunson while still improving the team, I'd like to make happen, because I think especially as a six-man point guard coming off the bench, he has so much potential with his court vision and his passing IQ. He's a good shot creator when he wants to be. He's pretty good off the pick and roll. Like just when he's at his best, he really excites me. So I'm pumped to see how he comes back from this injury, and I hope he gets a lot of good minutes and has a stellar season this year.
It's going to be interesting with the guards that we got.
It is,
how Rick manages their minutes. So
but
I do like that answer.
I do think DeLon and Seth both leaving gives him a little bit more of an opportunity to showcase himself. But yeah, like you said, it'll definitely be weird with the new shifting of minutes for the guards as we have them.
Yeah, and I've always, as far as the Brunson thing, I've always like coming out of the draft, I compared him to a Kyle Lowry. I think he's going to have a Kyle Lowry type career.
Yeah,
as a peak for him. It's like I've always envisioned, like I can't imagine we're going to be able to keep, like if he continues to improve the way I expect, I can imagine him like running a team, like not necessarily a top team, but like somewhere somebody like take him on as their like guy to manage their superstars or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and that would make me happy for him. You know, I obviously want him to do that here, but you know, as a player, I love him so much. So wherever he can thrive, I want him to. Awesome.
All right. So then, who is the non-Maverick that you are most looking forward to watching this year?
Non-Maverick. I'm interested to see how Obi Toppin plays in New York. Okay. Their reluctance to invest in a point guard kind of worries me. So it's going to be the Toppin show, and I've been hyped about his potential for a while. And another rookie, while we're on the subject, is Sadiq Bey. He was my number one target in the draft, and I'm still a little bit disappointed we let him go. But I think his 3-and-D play is just so exciting for such a young player, and I'm a big Sadiq Bey fan. As for current players in the league, it's kind of hard because we're in the era of duos. I am really intrigued by what Phoenix has in the CP3 Booker front court. And I have family in Arizona, so I've always been a closet Suns fan.
Gotcha.
So rather than one particular player, I'll say I'll be watching the Suns very closely this year, and I want to see where CP3 can carry that team.
Okay, I can respect that answer, and definitely not fun seeing another team in the West that's like behind us.
Yep. Yeah, I know.
But yeah, that should be a fun team to watch for sure. And Booker, he deserves to get to the playoffs, so I hope that happens for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So then on the other end of the spectrum, I guess, who's the last team that you would like to watch hold up that Larry O'Brien trophy? Like if you could pick one team to say they can't win this year and you would be perfect and you'd be happy, who would it be?
Lakers all day. Anyone who follows me on Twitter knows I detest the Lakers with every fiber of my being. I absolutely despise that they get, you know, basically a free access to a pool of players just because of the name on their jersey and all the hype around them. You know, the thing about this year's team, and I know I'm going to sound like a Scrooge here, like even from a basketball perspective, it just didn't feel like a Lakers championship to me. It felt like they had thrown a team together with LeBron. They lucked into LeBron and AD coming into LA and got them because, like I said, the name on their jersey and the city they play in, not because of, you know, managerial experience or they had a long-term plan to build around these guys. It wasn't like a Kobe Lakers team, you know? And I've always hated them. Like people hate the Cowboys, which I'm a Cowboys fan, so I get. Yeah, just if the Lakers repeat, I will feel nothing. And there's not a team that I would detest winning the title other than them this year. I can't say that it would boil under my skin, but like I won't feel anything if they two-peat. It just won't do anything for me.
Yeah, it probably feels like, I mean, I haven't watched baseball in a very long time, but when the Yankees were winning all the time, and like it made me not like baseball at all.
Yeah.
And I hate that in the NBA. So yeah, I need them to lose, and any team like them that just throws together some superstars, like you said, out of the thin air with like no actual work going behind it. Like no draft scouting, no taking somebody and building them into something like New Orleans has done with Ingram. Like none of that homegrown success, that manufactured bought success. I hate it. So
that's where you get me. I fall for the teams that build and draft their way to competition, and rather than just signing the two best players in free agency. So
yeah, and as a fan, like that's not fun to me personally.
No, I agree.
So people get mad at me when I say I don't want certain players to come to Dallas, but that's how I feel. Like it wouldn't feel as good.
Yeah, absolutely. We're the good guys. That's how I'm a fan too. Is like we're the good guys, and if you're not a good guy, I don't want you on my team. So.
All right, so let's do some quick word association. First thing that pops in your head when you hear these players' names. First one is Dwight Powell.
What's left? I don't know what he's got left to prove here in Dallas. I can't imagine him being the best possible version of his pick and roll player that he was pre-injury. That's really where he specializes, is pick and roll. So, I mean, he still works in this system to a degree, but yeah, I say I don't have much high expectations for him post injury. So that's my answer is what's left for Dwight Powell. I don't know.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I mean, we're deeply invested in him. So I'm hoping that there's something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I respect that response. So then Andre Drummond.
Lane clogger. No, I'm kidding. That's a joke. I don't watch Drummond enough to really have an opinion on him either way, so I'll just say indifferent.
I respect someone. Let me just say this. I respect someone being willing to say they don't have enough information. Feels like people are willing to make up stuff.
Especially with him, because Mavs Twitter is divided into pro Andre Drummond and anti Andre Drummond, and there is no in between.
Yeah,
and that's exactly where I am, is in the middle. If we splurged on him and made him our center, I'd say, you know what? Okay, he has a lot of potential to succeed here. He's a great rebounder. He can score. Like, he would work under Rick Carlisle, but if we don't go after him, it's fine. So yeah, I same answer as the last one. I'm indifferent.
Okay. Then I'm pretty sure you won't be indifferent about this next one. James Harden.
Oh no, James Harden is my second least favorite player in the league behind LeBron. Yeah, I know. It's there's my hot takes. What can be said about Harden at this point? I don't want to say boring, to use my word, but I really don't like watching him play basketball. And people who compare Luka to him really kind of bother me sometimes, because there's a lot more to it than that.
Yeah.
Luka is a much more, I will say, he's a much more creative player than Harden is. So I'll say uncreative is my word for Harden.
I'll take it. And then the last one is Marcus Morris.
Marcus Morris, jerk. I don't like him. I want him far away from my team. I sincerely hope that if he ever steps foot in the AAC again with me in the building, I can boo him relentlessly. And let's just say I'm glad James Johnson is on the team, so that if he tries anything again, which I know he's going to, we have backup now.
Yeah. Definitely feel a lot better about the roster we have as far as those type of guys go.
Yep.
Okay, so then moving away from all the basketball stuff, we're wrapping up here shortly. So recommend me a podcast that is not your own. Any podcast.
Ooh, I listen to so many. I'm gonna mess up the name on this. What's the podcast I listen to? Pod Don't Lie. with my favorite comedian, Sam Morrell. He talks a lot of Knicks basketball on there, but that's okay. Him and Stavros, whose last name I cannot ever remember. Two really funny guys. Stavros Halkias is his name. I just call him, I refer to him as Stav in my head. But Stavros and Sam are both really funny guys. They have really great basketball content, and they're both comedians, so it's pretty funny and enjoyable to listen to. So it's called Pod Don't Lie. It's pretty enjoyable. Check it out.
Awesome. And then finally, Reid, where can we find your work?
You can find me on Twitter at ZestyHunky, where I will retweet pretty much everything. Those are my two favorite words, Zesty and Hunky, combined into one username. I'm a writer for the Smoking Cuban, or contributor, I should say. So you can find my work at smokingcuban.com. I also podcast at Ballscast MFFL on Twitter. We try to do an episode-ish a week, and we cover pretty much everything in the land of Mavs basketball, except it's from the perspective of a bunch of greasy 20-something white dudes who really have no serious involvement in the Mavs franchise other than just being fanboys. So don't expect any serious analysis. It's just a bunch of goofing. But yeah, any content you're looking for from me is at my Twitter at ZestyHunky.
Awesome. Well, Reid, it's been a lot of fun. I definitely appreciate you coming on. We'll have to do something again sometime.
Yeah, for sure. You're always welcome on our podcast as well.
Awesome. Okay, so I am now here with Jay and Fazal of the Mavs Film Room. That's at Mavs Film Room on Twitter. And we're going to do a quick 21 questions Mavs season preview edition. The first few questions I gave the guys up front, but we will hit a point where they will be on the spot and you'll hear things like, wow, Bibs, that's a great question. And I don't even know what to say. So it'll be pretty obvious when we get there. Are you guys ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So first question should be pretty easy, I think. What are your goals for this season as far as either the record or standings, any awards you might have your eyes on, and then, of course, postseason success? And we can start with you, Jay, this time.
Okay. Yeah, team record. It's a little bit hard to say, I think, in the 72-game season. I don't quite have a feel yet because we don't have the schedule out. So we're not totally sure about how the games are going to be scheduled and such. But I think like a realistic goal for the Mavs this season is to try and get one of the top 4 seeds, of course. I feel like last year they would have done that if they didn't lose so many of those close clutch games, you know.
Yeah.
That was a big problem for them. And of course, their defense was pretty poor last season. So I'm hoping that helps them, you know, win some of those games they didn't win last season. So I think top 4 is a realistic goal for them this year. As far as awards, I mean, Luka's the betting favorite for MVP. So, you know, who wouldn't love to see Luka win the MVP? You know, as maybe Kristaps for the most improved player, but I feel like he might miss too much time here at the beginning of the season. But that would be cool. I mean, I think like Kristaps played really well, you know, in the second half of like last season. So definitely would love to see that. And as the postseason, I think it would be nice to see them win at least in the first round. I think anything after that is a bonus, but you know, they already made the playoffs last year, so it would be nice to go a step further.
Awesome. All right. And then what do you got for me, Fazal?
Okay, so as far as team record goes, since it's a 72-game season, obviously the number I would like to say is 50, but adjusting for 72, that's roughly 44 wins. If we can get to that threshold, that'd be great as far as I'm concerned. Okay. And then standing in the West, I'd prefer home court advantage, but you know, the difference between the 4th and the 5th seed, it's pretty negligible. So I'd be okay with the 5th seed as well. Anything below that, that's where I start to get a little iffy, but 1 through 5, as long as the health is good, yeah, I'm all for that.
Awesome.
As far as the award race goes, I think, as I'm sure almost everyone said, I want to see Luka get that MVP or close to it. But
pretty much.
Other than that, I would actually like to see one of our rookies, most likely Josh Green, get a spot on the all-rookie team, one of the two. That would be really cool.
That would be cool. Yep.
Yeah, I was surprised that not a lot of people said that because that's kind of where I'm leaning. I want all rookie selection for one of our guys. And I do think Green has the best shot at getting any playing time. So thank you for not leaving me hanging on that one.
Don't sleep on Tyrell Terry either. I think he especially
how
because,
could I?
because they got rid of Seth, so I think he fits pretty well into that role. So it would be interesting.
Definitely.
Definitely. And then did you say postseason success already?
Oh, not yet. As far as my goal for that would be probably second round appearance. I think that would be ideal.
Okay, yeah, I think that's fair. And then I feel like you guys kind of halfway prefaced it already, but what would be a disappointing season for you?
Let's see. As I think I mentioned, 6th seed or worse, that would be disappointing. A first round exit if we have home court, absolutely disappointing. And then I don't want to even talk about it that much, but if we get hit by the injury bug again, that would be pretty awful.
Yeah, I think that's fair. What do you got for me?
Yeah, I'm pretty much with you there, Fazal. I think it is, like I said, it is a bit harder to predict with this season. But I think definitely like a 6, 7, or 8 seed would probably count as disappointing in my eyes, just because I know KP is missing like the first month, but I mean, Luka's an MVP candidate. So I hope him and Jay Rich and Tim Hardaway can like elevate the Mavs to at least the 5th seed,
Okay. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think KP missed some time last year too, so it's like we were able to get to a certain point. If we finished 7, we could have easily been 4th, 5th if we won some of those close games. So I think it's fair to be disappointed if we end up back pretty much in the same spot. Okay, next one is definitely one I wanted to give you guys time with, and I hope you got something for me. Best hot take or bold prediction that you're willing to put out into the universe?
I think my best hot take / bold prediction is the Mavs will be a top 3 seed in the West this season.
Okay.
I think that would be a really, really good season for them. I don't know what that would mean for Luka's MVP chances, but I think he would definitely be a top 3 candidate if that's the case.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Who are your 1 and 2 out of curiosity?
I think the Lakers are probably the favorite for 1, and I do expect the Clippers to continue to be a good regular season team this year. I mean, they got better. They got Ibaka. They got, Luke Kennard is a pretty solid role player for them. So I would expect them to continue being a good team.
Okay, I like it. And Fazal, what is your best hot take or bold prediction?
So this isn't this isn't the most exciting hot take in the same vein as predicting top 3 seed, but I do think that I'd bet money that a lot of people haven't said this. My hot take for the season is that Willie Cauley-Stein is going to far outplay the salary he's worth this season.
Ooh,
and that's not because I think he's going to be a substantially better player. I think he's going to be the same guy as always. But a full season with the Mavericks, a full season in the system, and a full season, most importantly, with Luka just helping out his teammates the same way he does with everybody. That's going to make Willie Cauley-Stein look like he's really good, even though he probably isn't.
Yeah, I think the first month where KP is out is really going to be big for him, because I think like we said on our off-season video, I think there's a decent chance that he gets to start a few games, and I think that like Fazal said, he didn't get much of a consistent run with the Mavs like last season, but a full season with them, I think he can do some things.
Exactly. I'm definitely pulling for it. I hope he gets to start at the beginning of the year with Maxey or James Johnson beside him. But yeah, I'm definitely pulling for Willie. All right. So now we're getting into the stuff that I did not prepare you guys for. This first one should be pretty fun and pretty easy on the mind. So, favorite Mavs memory, and we'll start with you, Fazal.
Oh man!
If you're ready, if you need a second.
Yeah, that's fortunately, I guess as Mavs fans, we're blessed because of just the entire diversity of options. But okay, favorite memory. I could go the easy route and say anything from 2011, but I'm not gonna, just for the sake of being a little more interesting, I'm not gonna do that. But I do have something that it compares even closer to that, I think, than I'd say, as much as I love, this current era of Mavericks basketball and Luka and KP and all of that, and they've already given us a ton of good memories, I'm going to go back to 2014 and that playoff series against the Spurs. Vince Carter's game winner. Oh my God. I have never had a moment like that before from a team with those expectations with the 8th seed. Right. I've never rooted for a team like that before, that hard, like that. Every moment, the pass fake when Calderon was inbounding, the fact he got the pass off, the pump fake to get Ginobili in the air, and then Vince swished that from the corner, and it was in Dallas too, and everybody went crazy. That's like the loudest I ever heard the American Airlines Center. That was my favorite moment. Absolutely.
Man, I'm getting chills just hearing you talk about that. That was such an amazing moment.
So you painted a picture with that one.
For sure.
So what do you got for me, Jay?
Yeah, like Fazal said, I mean, I think it would be pretty easy to say the championship, but I'll choose another one just for the sake of being, thinking about it a little bit more. But I'll probably still go with something basic. But the day the Mavs drafted Luka was definitely like one of my favorite Mavs moments ever. And I know it wasn't a game or anything. And I always joke with people like the Mavs drafting Luka was like one of the best days of my life. But like, I mean, I think for all of us who like were paying attention to the draft and like saw the Mavs fall in the draft lottery, for them to be able to go up and get Luka was like such a huge deal. And he's obviously been everything and more that we've, expected.
Yeah. I think for me, it didn't even I think I went into shock because I just didn't expect it to be a possibility. So it didn't even really register for me until like he was on the court. Like, oh, we got that Luka kid that looked amazing. Like I was looking at like project players that weren't going to look like anything for 3 or 4 years, and then all of a sudden we have Luka. And I was like, holy crap.
I was having to sell myself on Mobamba, and I'm like, thank God I didn't have to do that.
Yeah, things changed quickly, fortunately. All right. So I'm going to take you guys from those highs to a low. What's your biggest Mavs heartbreak?
Jay, you can take this first, right? I think I answered first last time.
Okay. I mean, there's quite a few that come to mind. I would have to say the 06 finals, man, or the following year, which was losing to the Warriors in the first round.
You got to pick one.
Okay, if I have to pick one, shit. That's tough. I'll have to go with the 06 finals because just to get that far and be up 2-0 and then lose the series in the way that they did, it was just like crushing. At least the following season, Dirk got the MVP, so there was a little bit of a redeeming factor there.
Awesome. I liked it. I didn't like what happened, but I like that as a choice. All right, Fazal, what do you got?
Oh God! At first, I was gonna say the one of those tanking seasons where the Mavs were real bad, probably like 2017, the year we tanked for DSJ. I was gonna say that, but thinking about it some more, no, I'm gonna have to second the 2006 finals. Okay, there aren't very many things sports related where I suppress the memories, but that was one thing, that's one thing. But I can still tell you all about how leading up to it, I saw Dirk drop 50 on the Suns in the Western Conference Finals, and I was like, I knew what was going on as a 9-year-old kid. I knew this was really special. We get to the finals. In the first 2 games, I'm on cloud 9. I'm like, okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna sweep these fools. And then not even Dwayne Wade, not even just Dwayne Wade. For some reason, even though Shaq was terrible in those finals, I have bad memories of Shaq just like bouncing people out of the way with his ass and just dunking on people. That didn't, if you look at the stats, that probably didn't happen that often, but I still have those memories. That, Dwayne Wade, and then, no way of getting around it, Dirk choked, a little bit of that, just all of that. There aren't very many moments where I've cried over sports, but I remember at game 6, like even before Jet shot that last shot and we lost.
I still remember that 3-pointer at the end. Like it's like burned in my brain.
I ran to the closet and I cried.
I'm just picturing little 9-year-old Fazal like sitting in front of the TV, like so happy about his Mavericks, and then just watching Dwayne Wade walk to the free throw line over and over. I'm sorry you had to experience that at such a young age. Nobody should have to go through that.
I know. Thanks.
Oh man, that's great. All right, going back to the fun side. Who is the Maverick you would most want to hang out with? And I'm talking active roster.
Let's see. I think I was gonna say Josh Richardson, but I'm actually gonna go ahead and pivot to Tyrell Terry because he seems kind of like a nerd, and I'm a big nerd, so I need something I can more relate to. And Tyrell is on the younger side of the roster. True. And I'm not ancient. I think I'd like to say I'm not ancient. I'm about Jalen Brunson's age, so I think I could relate to Tyrell. We're two nerds who like basketball. That sounds about right.
All right, I think you're the first person to say Tyrell, so I like it. And what do you got for me, Jay?
Yeah, I was going to say Josh Richardson. He seems pretty personable, but I'll probably go with like Dwight Powell. He also seems like a pretty, chill guy. Like, he always has these like funny captions on Instagram where he like refers to himself as a sportsman. So I'm curious to see like what he's actually like in person, if he's like as much of a meme in real life. So I think I'll go
with
the
Stanford guys. So both of you guys end up with the Stanford guys. All right. I see what's happening here. All right. And I don't know if I've seen you guys' takes on this. I have a prediction, but plan powder or focus on the season in front of you? Which philosophy do you prefer?
Should I go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
I got to go with focus on the season in front of you. I mean, I think when we were younger, we would all sort of like buy into the whole plan powder thing. But after a few iterations, and of course seeing like what our in-state rival Rockets did to that approach, it's sort of like I don't know what the word is, but essentially invalidated that strategy a bit. I mean, not to say that planning for the future is a wrong strategy. I mean, because clearly teams do it. But I think the important thing to understand is if a player wants to come sign with you, there is always going to be a way to offload the necessary salary. I mean, the Rockets did it. The Warriors did it. I mean, the Mavs helped the Warriors do it when KD decided to sign with them.
The Heat did it.
Yeah, the Heat did it, right? So it's always possible to offload salary to sign a guy. So I do agree. You don't want to sign a bunch of long-term huge contracts, but you can get around like a guy who's on like a 3-year, $35 million contract fairly easily. It's not that hard.
Exactly. All right, Fazal, you on the same track, or are you feeling differently about that one?
Yeah, I'm roughly on the same track. I'd say this time around it's a little more interesting because for a while I've been anti-plan powder, but just like buying 2K every year, the Donnie Mavs front office, they keep on reeling me back in and trying to tell me, this might actually be a good idea. No, I'm still firmly on the idea about keeping our guys and looking to the season ahead, but just, it's just a tad tough this time around, but nah, it's
okay.
Still around that.
So you're allowing it this season is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
So the circumstances have changed. All right. I can respect that. All right, guys. Who is the Maverick that you are most excited to watch this year? We'll keep alternating. So Fazal, you're first on this one. And it doesn't have to be a new guy.
Okay. I feel bad because I've said maybe Josh Richardson twice, but again, I think he's been my honorable mention for both of these answers. Let's get that out of the way. But no, I'm excited to see Kristaps. I think once he gets back, and especially once he gets in the form, he's gonna, that's that stretch where Luka was at and Kristaps was carrying the team. I think we're gonna see a lot of that, especially next to Luka, next to everybody else. Like with the whole roster revamped, Kristaps hopefully doesn't have to expend as much energy on defense trying to do everything. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do with a more complete roster. Definitely.
Awesome. I like it. And what do you got for me, Jay?
Yeah, much like Fazal, I'm going to have to go with Jay Rich as my honorable mention. But I think if I really think about it, the guy I'm most excited to watch this year is Jalen Brunson. And it's just because last season was obviously cut short for him. And I think he started off the season slow, but like right around the time he got hurt, he was starting to, figure things out and play well. And it was unfortunate that he got hurt against Atlanta and it wasn't even a foul. So I feel like he's got something to prove, and this is year 3 for him. So I think we'll really get to see what he's about this year and how he fits into the team going forward.
Yeah, that guard rotation is going to be interesting to watch. So we'll see how much Brunson gets to factor into that, how much Burt cuts into it, and all that good stuff. But we know Carlisle's not opposed to throwing out 5 guards. So all right, keeping it along that line, who is the non-Maverick player that you're most looking forward to? And Jay, you can take this one first.
Non-Maverick that I'm looking forward most to. I'm gonna have to go Kevin Durant. Okay. I think Kevin Durant has become one of my favorite players just because he's, I would say, probably one of the players in the league currently that's like closest to Dirk, just given his size and shooting ability, and they've obviously had like a good mutual respect for each other. So I know KD's decision to go to the Warriors was not super popular, and I get that. But just as a player, I really, really like his game. And it'll be interesting to see how he comes back from this Achilles injury and plays with the Nets. And him being in the East should be an interesting dynamic too.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned the Dirk thing, because I've always said that I expected that KD's game, as he got older, would start to look more like Dirk's. And I think that Achilles injury is probably going to speed that up. I just had this conversation literally with the person I was talking to previously. So
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I think it is going to be interesting to see what he does in Brooklyn. And what do you got for me, Fazal?
All right, so I'm glad Jay went first because this gave me just a couple more moments to think about it. Just from a pure enjoyment of basketball standpoint, just because he's that exciting to watch, I think you and me might share this answer, Bibs. I'm gonna be excited to see Dame play this season, especially now that he has even more weapons around him, like the addition of Rocco. That's huge. Yeah, I just think the Blazers are gonna come out and have another strong season this year, much stronger than last year, because last year they had all those injuries going on, of course, and Dame just keeps on getting better. So I'm very excited to see him just take that next step.
Awesome. And, I think I hadn't thought about this answer until this moment. Like, obviously, Dame is going to be at the top of my list as far as individual player. But when I think about the teams that I want to have a good season, I definitely would think the Blazers are overdue. And since I don't think the Mavs are a title team this year, I'm going to need them to go ahead and be my title favorite, because I need us to start taking over next year as far as that goes. So Dame, get your ring now while you still can, brother. And in the opposite direction, and Fazal, you're taking this one first. Which team do you least want to see holding up Larry O'Brien at the end of the year?
Okay, this is, weirdly enough, I do have an immediate answer for this, even though it's not that realistic at this point. Naturally, I always have to freaking hate on Houston teams, but for some reason, just the overall vibe of the Rockets, they employ Daniel House, right? They traded away Russell Westbrook, and they brought in John Wall, who I do like a lot, but they're also, not only are they the team of Daniel House, they're the team of James Harden. They're the team of Leslie Alexander. Like, I can't support any of that. And
you mean Tillman Fertitta? He's probably worse than Les Alexander.
And as long as you have Harden on a team, I hate to say it, but you do have a legitimate chance of winning the title. So I don't think they're going to win it. I wouldn't bet on them at all, but they have that chance as long as they have Harden. And seeing the Rockets win it all, especially consider the circumstances for them to win it in this season, I'd be so pissed.
You don't want to see the bubble booty bandit holding up the trophy is what I just heard. All right.
Oh, hell no.
Oh, Daniel. Oh, man. Good times. All right, Jay, who do you got?
This one's pretty easy for me. I do not want to see the Lakers win it again. In any case, their fans are insufferable. LeBron fans are insufferable. And just watching them win this year was painful enough for me. I couldn't do it again.
I respect that. Okay. So moving away from the deep basketball questions, we're going to do some quick word association with 4 player names. I'll say the name. You tell me the first thing that comes to your mind. And Jay, I'll let you do the first one first. Dwight Powell.
First thing that comes to mind?
Yes.
Community. I think just because of the work he does in the community and, the leader he is with the team, that's what comes to mind for me.
Awesome. I like it. What do you got, Fazal?
Dunks, because that's 99% of his highlights.
That is fair enough. And I was just talking to somebody a minute ago. Apparently there's video of him working out, and they said he looks good. So I need to go find that video. But if he's close to what he was, then I'm happy.
That'll be exciting.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, Fazal. Next one is Andre Drummond.
Defense, because that's what he's billed as.
Interesting. All right, you got something different for me, Jay?
I think the word that comes to mind is probably stats. He's a guy who puts up really, really good stats, but his record as a winning player is not as strong.
No, it is not. Not at all. All right. Next player, and of course, going back and forth. So, Jay, James Harden.
James Harden. Controversial. He's definitely like one of the greatest offensive players and just players in general of all time. But just given how weird his Rockets tenure has been, I mean, I was just talking with Dalton on Twitter about like just, the different star teammates he's had, like Dwight Howard, Chris Paul, even Carmelo Anthony. Of course, he's past his prime, but just like the weirdness of how those things went down, just a lot of weird stuff happened with Harden.
Yeah, they've tried everything with him. It just hasn't worked. Okay, I like it. What do you got for me, Fazal?
Man, Jay's giving all the cool answers, but I'm giving you guys I'm giving you guys legitimately the first thing that comes to my mind. And the first thing that came to me for Harden was step back, because I guess he takes a lot of those threes, but I really couldn't tell you why. That's the first thing I thought of.
You are not the only one to say that, though.
Okay, I feel a little better.
You're not too weird. All right, so then last player, Fazal Marcus Morris.
Oh shit!
Was that a fart?
This one doesn't need any explaining. The first word that came to my mind was "bitch."
You're the first one that fully go there, so I appreciate it. What do you got for me today?
The word comes to mind is rat, and just because he like sort of looks like a rat, and my opinion of him doesn't help that in any way. So
I would imagine not. All right, guys, we're gonna transition away from basketball potentially. Recommend me a podcast that is not your own, and it does not have to be sports related at all.
Let's see.
And whoever comes up with one first, feel free.
Okay, I got one. I haven't listened to it recently, but I always enjoyed the Book of Basketball podcast that Bill Simmons does, and I think it's just cool to sort of like relive some of the past eras of the NBA, especially like the golden age of the Mavs with Dirk. I mean, I remember he did an episode with Mark Stein about the 2006 series against the Spurs, and it's just cool to like, when you listen to it, you sort of get transported back to that time, and it's just like really like cool to look at things in another perspective. So I go with that.
Okay. I think I might need to check that one out. You got anything else for me, Fazal?
Okay. Similar to Jay, I haven't listened to this podcast in a hot minute, but I would have to say the Ringers NBA podcast, but especially the episodes with Kevin O'Connor and Chris Vernon, because those two guys, they kind of have that dynamic, you know, they go back and forth, kind of like Jeff Van Gundy and what's his name, Mark Jackson do, but it's a little less toxic than that, just a bit less toxic.
I was gonna say
I really enjoy their podcast.
Yeah, that makes it more fun.
Okay, definitely keep that in mind as well. And then finally, guys, where can we find your work? I mean, if you want to.
Okay. So you can find our work on Mavs Film Room on Twitter, and then we have our YouTube linked in our bio, and on our YouTube page, we have all our monthly video content that comes out. And our most recent thing that we worked on was with Mavs Draft on a profile for, I'm blanking on the name. What's his, do you remember, Jay?
I unfortunately do not remember, but we also recently did a video just recapping the Mavs offseason and analyzing what all the different players bring to the team. So if you haven't watched that, you should definitely check it out. We have the link on our Twitter. I think it was pinned to our profile until a couple days ago, but definitely check that out.
And that's on the Mavs Film Room Twitter, right?
Yeah.
Right. That video with Mavs Draft, that was over Elijah Hughes. I just looked it up.
There we go. Yeah, I had it in my head too, but it wasn't coming to the tongue. Awesome. So thank you guys. That's really all I had as far as my questions. I think we had some good answers come out there. Always enjoy talking to you guys. And I kind of gave you the heads up earlier. You guys are the reason that the Bibs Corner podcast exists.
Damn.
My appearance on I think it was the Reunion Lights podcast back in the day. It doesn't feel like it, but it was over 2 years ago. That was my first time doing a podcast at all, and got me interested in the game. So thank you guys for reaching out and taking that shot on young Bibs.
Wow, that's something, man.
I know. Yeah, dude, we appreciate that. I mean, I think like you're one of definitely our favorite people to interact with on Twitter, and even though we don't know each other personally, I definitely feel like we know each other to an extent. So hopefully one day we'll be able to meet up in person. That would be awesome.
Yeah. Minus this virus situation, definitely you guys are at the top of my list to link up with sometime. So I appreciate you guys making the time for the podcast, and looking forward to putting this out.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Okay, folks. So I hope you have enjoyed listening to all these different podcasters, different backgrounds, different histories as Mavs fans, break down my questions and give you their opinions. I'm going to quickly run through my answers on these questions. I debated whether or not I wanted to do that, but at the last second, 25th hour here, I'm going to make it happen. So first of all, off-season grade, B+. That's straightforward. Same thing as everybody else. Goals for this year, I need the Mavs top 4 in the West. Anything below that is a disappointment in my eyes. Awards, I don't need Luka to be MVP, but I expect him to be top 3 in voting. I expect him to be first team All-NBA again. I would like to see KP get an All-Star bid. I would like to see one of the rookies get an All-Rookie nomination. I expect Josh Green to have the best odds at getting real playing time, just based on how our roster set up in the rotations. And then I said I was going to campaign for Maxey to be all defense. We need to see how the roster shakes out right now. But I would love to see Maxey, James Johnson, or the guy I think has the best shot, Josh Richardson, make one of the all-defense teams. If the Mavs do what I think they are capable of this year, they're a top 3 seed. Richardson is clamping guys like I've seen him do. I think he has a really good shot at getting that all-defensive nomination. Guys are already talking about him being one of those guys. The national media is doing it. We're going to be on TV. That's how you get awards. And then, of course, postseason success. Definitely want to get out of the first round. And when we get to the second round, no matter who we're facing, I'd like to see that series go to 6. A disappointing season for me, and I enjoyed listening to everybody's answers on this particular question because it made me think about some things. And you've already heard some of my takes as far as that goes. But a disappointing season for me coming into this, basically not being higher than the 6 or 7 again, like finishing pretty much in the same spot we were. I think we have to show progress. We set ourselves up to try to have a big off season this coming summer. And you don't do that by being stagnant. So we have to take a step forward, get to that top 4, make a little bit of a run in the playoffs. So anything less than that is a disappointment in my eyes. My best hot take or bold prediction that I'm willing to put out there for this season is something I have also kind of debated and or struggled with. I'm still struggling with it to this moment. I honestly think the Mavs are going to surprise some people. I honestly think the Mavs are going to start out slow, but by the end of the year, our depth and versatility of our roster, I feel like we're going to go into the playoffs high. I think we're going to have a very good shot at being the 2 seed out of the West. Like, I think it's going to be very close, like within a game or 2 of that 2 seed. And of course, I'm making that hot take / bold prediction with the. I'm not going to put the caveat, but I'm making that prediction well aware of our situation as far as KP's health and a lot of things coming together. But again, I think slow start because of a lot of pieces that are moving, and of course KP potentially not being there. But as it comes together, the back half of the season. I expect a huge run. I expect us to really make some noise, and I expect Luka to take a step forward and that to be really the catalyst for us fighting for that 2 seed. My favorite Mavs memory is an interesting way to go. I'm gonna go. I was trying to avoid doing it, but I think I do have to go with the 2011, but not just the win of the championship. It is that moment at the end of Game 6 where you can see it starting to wash over Dirk, and he's kind of standing on the court in shock initially, but then he just walks off to the locker room, like seeing how he felt in that moment, seeing the emotion take over him and him need to like step away from it for a second. That got to me on a deeper level because, watching what he went through to get there, the reaction he had was like, I really didn't. It looked to me like he was having a moment like, I really didn't expect this to ever happen. I can't believe I really just did this, or we really just did this. Like, I really brought a championship to Dallas. He was on the back. I mean, according to how most players age and progress, he should have been on the back end of his prime that year. That's the year where most guys, historically, if they hadn't gotten a ring by then, they definitely are bolting. That was around the age where KG left Minnesota and things like that. And it was interesting to watch him have that moment, and that was the most beautiful. That's my favorite memory. Biggest Mavs heartbreak. There are so many ways I could go here. My options were not drafting Giannis because, like, I can find the tweets. I spelled Giannis's name with the African spelling because that's how it was spelled at the time. But Giannis was, that year when I was doing I'm going to call it scouting, but it was really just watching highlight videos. When I was doing my scouting, Giannis was the first player that popped off the page for me. I was like, hold up, who is this kid? Yes, get him in Dallas. He was raw, but I could see the hunger in his eyes, and I saw the freaky dimensions. And I was very hopeful for what he could become. That's why he's one of my favorite players right now. So knowing that we had a chance to draft him seeing what he's become, like knowing that we had a chance to draft him and passed made me mad at the time. Learning later that Donnie wanted to draft him made me even more mad. And then seeing what he's become now has enraged me even further. So that's a heartbreak that has continued the crevice, the crack that was created when my heart broke has continued to spread, and my heart is almost split in half at this point. And you might hear that and say, but Bibs, you're on the Giannis Stan Milwaukee train. And yes, I am, because again, I can't be a hypocrite. I can't be a guy that applauds players for staying in their teams, and I can't be a guy that hates super teams and then advocate for a top 5 guy to join my top 5 guy in Dallas. I can't publicly do that. I can't put myself in that position. I won't put myself in that position. So if he comes, fantastic. I will adjust at that time. As it stands, Giannis in Milwaukee is what it is. I've sold myself on it being okay because I call it the payback for the Dirk trade. The Bucks drafted Dirk. They traded him to us for Tractor Trailer. Tractor Trailer, may he rest in peace, didn't become Dirk, and Bucks fans had to watch Dirk be Dallas for 21 years. So it's only fair that the Bucks get their turn with a guy that should have been a Mav, in my opinion. If he gets them a ring this year, then all bets are off. He can do whatever the hell he wants. The Maverick that I would most want to hang out with, and why? This answer's probably changed over the course of this week. After seeing some of the new guys, I really do think Josh Richardson is probably the guy I could hang out with and have a casual conversation, and just chill, do random regular people stuff. So definitely I'm going to go with Josh Richardson for that one. Plan powder or worry about this season in front of you. Y'all already know I'm all about focusing on the now. Again, if a big-time free agent wants to come to your team, they will be on your team. You can offload contracts. I'm not saying sign crappy contracts. Don't sign overpay guys. But if you can get a solid player on a deal that makes sense economically, then go for it right now. Because, again, tomorrow's never promised. The Mav I'm most excited to watch this year is actually Josh Green. I'm very intrigued by what he can do and how quickly he develops. I think that there is an immediate role for him on the team, and I think he's going to be an exciting player to watch. Again, I think it was mentioned with one of the conversations. There were so many over the course of this week, but I think he's a highlight reel type of guy, so I'm looking forward to having that on my roster. The non-Mav, the guy across the league I'm most looking forward to watching has to be Dame Dollar. I'm excited about the team the Blazers have put together. They got him some wings again. I don't know why they let go of Harkless and Aminu the year before, but it is what it is. They got Covington in there. Big Nurk is healthy. I really like that team. Gary Trent was huge last year. He's only going to be better this year. Melo's back. I'm very excited about that team. Rodney Hood, and of course McCollum. I'm very excited about the Blazers. I think I said it also in one of the conversations. I feel like they better get it done this year because Luka's not wasting any time. We're taking another step next year. So be ready. The last team I want to see win the title this year and why, I have to say it's the Lakers, and it's for selfish reasons. LeBron has rings. AD has rings. There's no reason. None of those guys need rings anymore. And after my GOAT series, LeBron having another title and potential finals MVP type situation would potentially move him to number one. So I don't want him to be number one. So that's very selfish and small of me, but it is what it is. Word association, Dwight Powell. Got the word recently. He looks good and healthy, so I'm happy. He makes me happy that hearing that name. Andre Drummond. I feel like he gets a bad rap. So bad rap is what I'll say. Detroit didn't put the best pieces around him. Cleveland obviously is not a great situation. I feel like big men are very, very, their success, I should say, is very dependent on the guards they have around them because they can't set themselves up. I feel like if he ever gets to a team that has a fully established, like near all-star level guard, he becomes a completely different player, and people will realize how good and talented he is. James Harden, I hate his game. When I hear that name, I just think boring basketball. I can't watch the Rockets play basketball because of James Harden. We'll see how John Wall affects that. Marcus Morris, play tough. I feel like he's one of those guys that is not as tough as he pretends to be, and that he'll get his comeuppance most likely. Recommend a podcast that is not my own. I'm gonna rep my guy, Mike Kirkland at truthfully_Mike, and his friend Chris Hawkins have a podcast called Bruh WTF, and they talk about life. They're both fathers, and some political stuff. Guys from very different backgrounds. I just appeared on their podcast today. Actually, we did top 3 album runs in hip-hop history, and then we did like our top 5 dead or alive. We did our top 5 active rappers. We basically just had a rap discussion, talked about the greatest mixtapes, all that good stuff. So had a lot of fun with those guys. Chris and Mike are both very real people that you can talk to about anything, so definitely check them out. And then, of course, you know where to find me, so I'm not answering question 21. That's all I got for y'all. I put out 2 podcasts that are over 2 hours. I'm going to test your endurance. We'll see if y'all listen to these. I appreciate y'all checking in. As always, basketball is back. The next time you hear me will either be a movie review or it'll be a Mavs game recap. I'm out. Peace.